He is going to be King of England one day. He commands armies, represents nations, and carries the weight of an entire monarchy on his shoulders. But on Sunday morning, he sat down, and he was just a son who missed his mom. And what he shared with the world stopped millions of people mid-scroll. Not because it was shocking, not because it was scandalous, but because it was so painfully, beautifully human. This is the story behind that one photograph, and why it broke the internet in the best possible way. March 15th, 2025, Mothering Sunday across the United Kingdom. Families were gathered around kitchen tables, kids were making breakfast in bed, flowers were being delivered, and Prince William, the future King of England, posted something nobody had ever seen before. A photograph from 1984, taken at Highgrove House, the royal family's private countryside estate. In the image, a tiny 2-year-old boy is walking through a field of wildflowers, his small hand wrapped around his mother's. He's looking up at her, she's leading him gently through the grass, and everything about the moment is quiet and soft and real. The little boy was Prince William. The woman holding his hand was Princess Diana. Alongside the photo, William wrote just a few words. Simple ones, the kind that hit harder than any long speech ever could. Remembering my mother today, and every day, thinking of all those who are remembering someone they love today. Happy Mother's Day. That was it. No grand statement, no royal formality, just a son, remembering his mum. The internet responded the way it always does when something genuinely touches the soul. It broke. Comments flooded in by the millions. People called the photo beautiful, heartbreaking, timeless. Some couldn't even find words. They just left a single heart and kept scrolling, because what else do you say? Because here's the thing about Diana that the world has never let go of, and probably never will. She wasn't just a princess. She wasn't just a public figure. She was a mother who loved her sons with everything she had. She took them to theme parks. She hugged them in public when that simply wasn't done in royal circles. She told them she loved them. She made them feel normal in a life that was anything but. And William lost her when he was 15 years old. 15, an age when most kids are worrying about exams and friendships and figuring out who they are. He was standing in front of the world, grieving in public, carrying a loss too enormous for any adult, let alone a teenager. Nearly 30 years have passed since that August night in Paris in 1997. William is now a grown man, a father of 3, and one of the most recognized faces on the planet. But every year, when Mother's Day comes around, none of that matters. He is simply a boy who misses his mother. And that photograph, taken 4 decades ago in a quiet English field, said everything. Now let's talk about Catherine, because her story this Mother's Day is just as powerful, just in a very different way. The Princess of Wales did not post a separate tribute this year, and for people who have been following the royal family closely, they understood why. Because Catherine has been through something that no public title or palace address could protect her from. Cast your mind back to Mother's Day 2024. The palace released a family portrait, Catherine sitting with her 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, all smiling. It was meant to be a warm, reassuring image. The first public glimpse of Catherine in weeks following what had been described as planned abdominal surgery, but within hours, something went wrong. Major news agencies started pulling the photograph. Journalists and photo editors began pointing out inconsistencies, a misaligned hand, visual irregularities that suggested the image had been digitally altered. The story that was supposed to reassure the public suddenly created more questions than answers. The very next day, Catherine addressed it herself. Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. It felt like a small moment. It wasn't, because just days later, the world found out the real reason Catherine had been absent. She had been diagnosed with cancer, and she had been quietly, privately, undergoing chemotherapy while the world speculated and the cameras waited outside palace gates. The shock was total. Here was a young mother, vibrant, healthy-looking, always smiling, fighting a battle that none of us knew about. She stepped away from public duties. She focused on her children, on keeping their world as stable and normal as possible, even while her own world had been turned completely upside down. And on that Mother's Day, while the photo controversy swirled around her, she had also posted something quietly extraordinary, a video of forests, rivers, open skies, And alongside it, she wrote about nature becoming her family's sanctuary, about finding peace in the natural world during the hardest chapter of her life. Over the past year, nature has been our sanctuary, she wrote. This Mother's Day, let us celebrate Mother Nature and recognize how our bond with the natural world can help not only nurture our inner selves, but remind us too of the role we play within the rich tapestry of life. At the time, people thought it was poetic. Looking back now, it was a window into the soul of a woman who was fighting for her life and finding beauty in the world so she could keep going. By September 2024, her chemotherapy ended. By January 2025, she announced she was in remission. And slowly, carefully, Catherine has returned. Not rushing, not performing, just returning, on her own terms, in her own time. Recently, she appeared alongside William at an event along the River Thames, meeting volunteers and workers who support lifeboat services. She stepped behind a market counter and tried making coffee, laughing with the people around her, completely at ease. The woman who had been invisible for so long was back, warm, genuine, real. She also quietly mentioned something personal that day, that since her cancer diagnosis, she has become more mindful about alcohol. A small detail, but one that tells you everything about how profoundly that experience reshaped her relationship with her own body and her own life. William and Catherine, two people carrying very different kinds of grief and recovery. One grieving a mother he lost 30 years ago, one rebuilding herself after a battle she almost didn't win, and yet both of them still showing up. For each other, for their children, for the public that has loved them and worried about them and cheered them on. They do school runs themselves. They stand on the sidelines at their children's sports matches. They are, by every account, hands-on parents who have made it their priority to give Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis the kind of childhood that feels real, even inside the extraordinary world they were born into. Next week, they will stand beside King Charles to welcome Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for an official state visit beginning March 18th. The royal duties continue, but for one morning on a quiet Sunday in March, none of that existed. There was just a photograph, a field of wildflowers, a little boy looking up at his mother, and a man who became a king in waiting, but never stopped being her son. If this story moved you, share it with someone you love today. Call your mum if you still can. Hold on to the people who matter, because time passes faster than any of us are ready for. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that actually matters. See you in the next one.